normal. No more than normal. Yeah.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome. We are here to discuss our Spain and the Costa del Sol trip that the Chamber is doing. And I would like to introduce to everyone Ian Scott. He is our host for today and the expert on Spain. So I'm going to turn it over to him. I'm going to ask that you mute your microphones. And at the end, there'll be plenty of time for questions. And if you have a question during the event, you can also type it in the chat. So we'll try to get through all those questions that people have. And Ian, I am going to turn it over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Kathy. Thanks for having me here today. And thank you all for coming to listen about Spain, the Costa del Sol. It's a wonderful trip. It's one of our long-standing programs. We've been operating this program. I've been operating this program for the last 15, 16 years. It never fails to entertain. It never fails to perform. I was just joking with Kathy a moment ago. We seem to be going to the San Diego sunny destinations. Each place we go to, it seems to be, we've been to Greece, very, very sunny destination, Spain, the coast of the sun, Costa del Sol. So again, another great sunny destination. And a wonderfully rich and cultural experience. I can only see a couple of people here. Everybody else has gone either with pictures or just blank, but I get a sneaking feeling that quite a few of you have traveled with the Chamber before. The Chamber for the last few years has been doing a wonderful, Kathy and her team has done a wonderful job in creating what I call international awareness programs. These programs are designed to travel together as a delegation to far-flung places to learn a little bit about the culture, a little bit about history, something a little bit different than at home, and to experience an adventure together as a group. In the past, we've been to Greece, we've been to Tuscany, and 2023, we're heading to Spain, the southern shore of the Costa del Sol. A wonderful trip, wonderful, and it's no different than past years. Yes, it's going to be full of culturally rich destinations, warm and inviting, friendly people, and yes, come along with us on a wonderful trip with the Chamber. For those people who have been with us before, we seem to be continuing on with the theme. This is what we call our cruise philosophy on land. Our cruise philosophy on land is very similar. Maybe we head up to, in San Diego, head up to San Diego or down to San Diego, wherever you live, or LA, jump on a cruise ship, take your crease clothes and relax for 7 nights. That's what you do on a cruise vacation. We're doing the same thing here on the land. So we're going to head down to and land in Malaga, head out to Torremolinos, arrive in the resort destination of Torremolinos, unpack your suitcase, take the creases out of your clothes and relax. Just like you would on a cruise ship. The only difference is that hopefully our hotel doesn't move in the evening like a cruise ship would if you're traveling on one of those. But in the day, we travel. One day north, south, east to west, experiencing different cultures, different traditions, different, altogether scenes, but always coming back to the same location and the same hotel. So there's no constant packing and unpacking, and it's truly refreshing. It allows you to infiltrate into the Spanish way of life, into the Spanish culture, find a favorite bar in Torremolinos, after dinner, walk the promenade, head in for a sangria or a nice glass of ruby red wine, and yes, have a truly relaxing program. But in the day, being out all the culture and the activities that the destination has to offer. Simply put, as I mentioned, no constant packing and unpacking. Now, in a moment, with the aid of slides, we're going to head to Torremolinos in Andalusia. That's the state. We're going to see Ronda, Granada, the Rock of Gibraltar. We'll cross the Gibraltar Straits, leave Europe behind and arrive into the continent of Africa, into Tangiers, Morocco. We will go to Mijas, a small Mediterranean village, and then after that, we will continue on up to Madrid, which is our post-extension stay, and then fly home from there. All from the comfort of our office or home here in Southern California. Now, importantly, on this front cover sheet, you can see here, you do not have to be from, well, you can see the brochure, but you don't have to be from San Diego, Southern California, even the West Coast, to go on this trip. You might have friends, family members who live on the East Coast, in the Midwest. Let them know you're going. Drop them onto the website of the Carlsbad Chamber. The brochure's listed on there. There we are to print up the brochure and fill it out and get it over to Kathy. This is how we communicate on our programs. So all our communication is through Kathy. As a wholesaler of travel, I think you'll find we bring forth tremendous value for money, but we don't have banks of telephone operators waiting for your call. So all our communications is done via Kathy, and she will answer the questions. If she can't, then she'll come to us, she'll find us, and then we'll answer the question, and she'll come back to you. You'll find Kathy's information on the front of the brochure listed right there. Okay. Now, in a moment, as I mentioned, we're going to go through the program briefly. We could still be speaking about this destination tomorrow if we went in depth, but hopefully we'll be able to answer all your questions, get you excited about the trip. I know that Kathy and the Chamber would love to have you come on the program. Before I finish today, I promise I will do my best to answer everybody's questions. If I could ask everybody just to hold your questions to the end, I'd greatly appreciate it, because by the time we arrive at that section, the majority of your questions, if not all of them, will have been answered. So let's head out. Let's get there to Spain and see what it has to offer. What this program is going to bring is a warm and inviting, friendly people. This is a destination the majority of people speak English. It was one of the first vacation destinations in the world. In actual fact, Torremolinos is the destination that Cancun was modeled on. It's a place of tradition, folklore, and culture, even a lot more different than San Diego. I know there's a large Latino emphasis here, but yes, even different than San Diego. Great food, we're from its seafoods, its meats, cured hams, and historical sites spanning centuries. Here we are in Ronda, and the new bridge, which the new bridge is centuries old, all wrapped with golden sandy beaches, crystal clear blue and aqua green waters. It's a wonderful, wonderful destination to spend 7 relaxing nights in a beachfront hotel. Day one, we'll find ourselves leaving San Diego behind, heading for Spain. No, there are no non-stop flights out of San Diego for Spain. We're going to have to go to an international US gateway to go from San Diego over into Europe, and arriving into Malaga and into Spain on day 2. Welcome to Spain, and here's where we're going to be landing, in Malaga. And this is the area right here that we're going to be touring, which is Andalusia. For those people who'd like to carry on the extension here, we've got Madrid too. Andalusia, you can see it. We've got Granada here. We've got Torremolinos right here. We've got the Rock of Gibraltar. We've got Seville right here. Mijas, it's right underneath the Big Arrow. And also Granada is underneath the Big Arrow too. But it is a wondrous, wondrous destination, and welcome to the Costa del Sol. The Costa del Sol offers all the amenities you're going to be needing, and you'll be met by your tour director and guide upon arrival at Malaga Airport and on our modern air-conditioned motor coach, and welcome to Torremolinos. There's hotels, restaurants, bars, shops. It's a working, living Spanish town, and everything you're going to need for your 7-night stay. Spain's a member of the European community. So we're in the European community and on the euro as we speak. Modern facilities, ATMs, good medical facilities and such things here. And here we are on the main beach in Tourmaline. This is a host of new history as well as ancient history. Here we are in the main pedestrian walking area, which in an evening, most of you will be heading out to sample the wines, the beers, the sangrias, maybe a tapa or two after dinner, because dinner is included each evening in the hotel. Maybe after that, take a walk down the promenade, and this is in front of our hotel. It's known as, and this little boy is climbing on what's called the longest park bench in the world. That wall with a paving slab on the top, which acts as a seat, goes for approximately 7 kilometers. So you can get a good bit of exercise if you wish to in the evening. There's bars, restaurants, shops all the way along the promenade. But the first night's a night to relax, head to, for a drink afterwards, try not to get to sleep too early because you're on vacation, you're in Spain, live it up. Maybe grab some of that great wine. And then after breakfast, we've got the first full day's included tour that we're going to discuss. And this is to the spectacular city of Seville. Voted on numerous occasions the most romantic city in the world and for sure in Europe. It's spectacular architecture, it's mosaics, it's water features. Here we've got the Golden Tower. We'll see Plaza de España, again, with all those beautiful hand-carved buildings. I see that somebody has put a chat on there. So please, if you, as we're going through this, if you happen to be online and you forget, or you want to ask a question and you might forget, like me, you might forget by the time we get to the questions and answers period, drop it in the chat box, and I will make sure that I answer all questions before we leave tonight from the chat box, as well as verbal questions. Onwards, yes, you'll be able to experience the beautiful facades built in and around 1928. They're handmade tiles, multiple blues, greens, whites, very synonymous of this region. We'll continue on through into the Santa Cruz district and continue on our walking tour. And here we are at the Cathedral of Seville. We'll enter the cathedral. You'll see the Giralda Tower, but from inside the cathedral, we'll see and learn a little bit about Christopher Columbus, because this is where he spent a lot of his time fundraising for his cruises and he's touring around the world. And that's where he's laid to rest. You can see his sarcophagus below inside the cathedral itself. We'll continue on to the Royal Gardens, the Alcazar Gardens, beautiful walled ornamental gardens. And then later on, we'll head out to the Flamenco Museum. The Flamenco Museum is part of our Cultural Discovery series. For those people who haven't traveled before, well, all our programs, we have some cultural connections. Whenever humanly possible, we always like to put a bit of alcohol and wine in there. And we haven't spoken about that. We'll have that in a short while. But we're going to be learning a little bit about flamenco. Flamenco is very important in and around this area of southern Spain and Andalusia. And there are two types. One, traditional flamenco, which we're looking at here, colorful, usually very highly colorful dresses. And then there's the gypsy style, which is usually blacks and reds. And whilst you're in and around this area, I strongly encourage you. Yes, you'll learn about it at the museum, have a show there, but also go to one of the shows in and around the area. After that, we've got another included tour. Day 4, we're going to the Rock of Gibraltar, a bit British territory. So heading along the south coast of Spain to the west, going through small fishing villages, we'll be arriving through to the Rock of Gibraltar, and it looms way upon the horizon from way before we arrive, and we'll be crossing over into the United Kingdom. Visas are not required, just in case you're wondering. We'll be arranging for all the visitation passes and such things as that. Now, the Rock is one of the most prominent fortifications in and around the area, and it is a military fortification, old and new. And it is said that the British government and military can close the Straits of Gibraltar at any time because of all the guns and munitions inside here. We'll also see Catalan Bay continuing up to the top of the Rock itself. We don't give you a rope or a pair of walking boots. We'll be heading up there via minibus, arriving to the top of the Rock, where you will see the Barbary apes. It's said that the day that the Barbary apes leave the Rock is the day that the British will lose power on the Rock itself. So they feed them multiple times a day. And they're wonderful creatures to have a look at. And here we're looking out across the bay itself, some of the old military establishment, down into the city down below, and into one of the largest natural bays in the world. On a clear day, we might see all the way across to the continent of Africa and back to our hotel along the coastline we came from. After that, we'll continue back down again, and we'll continue our tour and look at Europa Point, the southwesterly most point on Gibraltar, head downtown and see a little bit about the British heritage. Yes, you'll see all sorts of British everywhere you look, fish and chips, the British pound, the British bobby, all types of stuff. Yeah, there's phone boxes. If anybody even uses phone boxes in today's day and age, you'll find a phone box or two over there. Day 6, we'll find ourselves heading to Ronda. Ronda is a little bit about Ernest Hemingway, the Spanish Revolution, and some spectacular countryside. We'll drive across the White Mountains at the back of Torremolinos, past highly fortified ancient Andalusian whitewashed villages, usually built on hillsides with fortifications that protected them over the centuries, arriving through to the town of Ronda. Ronda is built precariously on a cliff face overlooking the valley floor down below. Here we've got the new bridge, which dates back to the 18th century. And there are a couple of really cool bridges a little bit older than that. We'll start on the new section of the town, cross the bridge, which we're looking at right here. And here you can see the gorge that it's built on, looking down at the spectacular White Mountains and over towards Torremolinos over those mountains. We'll head in as part of our cultural discovery series. Bullfighting is slowly being, well, quite quickly now, being zoned out in Spain, as in most places throughout the world. But we're going to be visiting the most famous bull ring in all Spain, and it is dates back to 1785, and it's almost the Oscars of bullfighting. A small 5,000 spectator arena, solid stone seats. We'll enter in here. You can head into the ring itself, see what it would be like to have a bull charging at you. And then after that, we'll be continuing underneath the bleachers to the museum and learning a little bit about the history and traditions and the names used within bullfighting. After that, we'll head downtown into the old section where we'll learn a little bit about Ernest Hemingway, learn a little bit about the Spanish Revolution, that he was there during the period of, and Ronda is the place where he wrote much of To Whom the Bells Tolls. Continuing on, we have arrive at the wine museum. We learn about the Andalusian wines, which over the years have become refined wines, and importantly too, we sample a spot or two as well. Now, the beauty of our programs, our philosophy is that cruise philosophy on land, to arrive in a destination whenever humanly possible and stay one night. In one location for 7 nights. We have daily breakfast, as many dinners and meals as possible. In this case, we've got daily breakfast and daily dinners. We have centrally located first-class hotels. In this case, we're on the beach, and as many tours as we possibly can. And then we say, you know, yeah, you're there. Some people want to have a spot of free time. So we do have a bit of free time if you'd like to. You can take it nice and easy, relax, take it easy with a day on the beach, wandering Torremolinos, or take an optional tour with only you in mind. And on this particular program, there are 2 optional tours. One of them is on day 5, which is to Tangier, Morocco. We'll be crossing the Straits of Gibraltar over to Tangiers. Now, it's not a small boat that we go on, and the picture that I have here doesn't really do it justice. These are jet boats or high-powered boats. These boats have buses, trucks, cars, as well as passengers on them too. And dependent on the vessel and on sea conditions, somewhere about 90 minutes will be across the Straits of Gibraltar, and we'll have left Europe and Spain behind, and we'll be arriving in Africa and into Morocco. And to coin the phrase, you'll soon know that you're no longer in Kansas when you arrive in Africa. It's a whole new world and a spectacular experience. You'll see the from many, many miles away, you'll see Cape Spatal. You'll see the area of the rocky cliffs of Africa looming up before our eyes, the sandy beaches. And then as soon as we're off of the vessel, we'll be going with our tour director from Spain. We'll be meeting our Moroccan guide and jumping on our Moroccan bus, and off we go on our Tangier city tour. We'll be heading into the old walled city. We'll see the old fortifications. We'll continue on into the Casbah, the old town, which is famous for its shopping, its narrow streets, its blue, whites, and green buildings, and a great place to do a spot of shopping, maybe for a carpet, bit of brass items, just get your spices and all sorts of things whilst there. This is the only tour on the entire program that's really one of our longest tours in the day tours in the world. It's about, it's dependent on ferry crossings, it's about 12 and a half hours in length. So we'll be leaving in the morning after breakfast and coming back just in time for a late dinner. Lunch is included on this program for those people that take the optional extension. You also have the ability to take a camel ride if you wish, because you're in Africa, and why not? Obvious reasons we don't include it. Not everybody wants to do it, but you have the opportunity to do it if you wish. Now, the next program we've got is Granada. Granada, we're heading into an old Moorish settlement, an old Roman settlement, and the town of Granada. The emphasis, however, is not so much on Granada itself, but it's on the Alhambra Palace, or the Red Castle, dating back to the 14th century. It is said that it is one of the best preserved Moorish palaces outside Africa itself, but I believe if you've been to Africa and you've seen some of those palaces, I think you'll quickly conclude that this is the best preserved Moorish palace in the world. It's a spectacular example of Moorish architecture, with the Moorish arch, the carving, the sandstone carving, the intricate inlaid handmade tiles, and spectacular views from the fortification. And here we are in the main fortification, the citadel, the Nasrid palaces. And here we can see a little bit of the the carvings on the walls as we look out through the windows down below to Granada. But here's a little bit of a better shot. Spectacular history, spectacular architecture, and each place that you go around, you'll be in wonder of the time and the care that has been taken in making this palace originally. As you look at all those tiles, they're all handmade. It isn't painted historically. They're all inlaid semi-precious stones, stones from all over the world. We'll continue on to the Camarid's Palace, the Palace of the Lions with the new renovated Fountain of the Lions. Here we are in, and you can see the carvings inside the palace itself and the beautiful columns along the way. Now you can see a little bit about these handmade tiles. You can see they all fit together. It's not paint like if you've been to South America most of the time, like if you go to Seville, it's all painted. This is all stone that is intricately placed in there to make a handmade tile. And there's another example of it. And it shows that in some of these cases, some of the minerals that these tiles are made from come from Southeast Asia. So there was trading in Southeast Asia at the time of the construction of this palace. We'll continue into the garden, into the Generate, with its ornamental gardens and its fountains. We'll come back to the hotel, relax, have dinner, maybe head to your favorite bar. And the next day is an optional tour. Now, if you remember, I said there's only 2 optional tours. There really is only 2 optional tours if you get your act together and you reserve early enough. Because if you reserve before the early bird discount expires, you get Mijas, the tour to Mijas, free of charge. After the early bird discount, it is $79 a person. So this is a quintessential Andalusian village. It's there in the White Mountains overlooking Torremolinos itself. It's known for its narrow, whitewashed, cobbled streets, hanging baskets with geraniums, with songbirds outside the front window, ornamental bars on the windows. You might say, hey, this can't be a very safe place because look at all the bars on the windows. It's left over from colonial times. It was a sign of wealth. So the more intricate the bars on the windows were, the more wealthy you were. This one would be a very, very functional bar here. This is a new modern one. But if you take a look at some of these ones up here, a little more intricate, and as you go through, you'll find even more intricate. We'll have a guided tour of Mijas. You head into the main square, some great shopping to be done here. Anybody interested, you can take a local taxi around the town itself. And here we've got one of them dating back from the past. And you can take a taxi around should you wish, or just relax. Look back across the valley below, across to the ocean and to Torremolinos. And yeah, fabulous. Now, as I mentioned, you don't have to take the optional tours. You're about 25 minutes away from Malaga. Malaga is the 6th largest city in Spain and the 3rd largest port. Lots of things to do in Malaga. Yeah, you could go to the cathedral and see why they haven't finished. It hasn't been finished for centuries. The second tower and dome was never built. You might wish to go and head out to the Picasso Museum if you happen to have a liberal mind and you don't shock too easy, because it's kind of raunchy. But you could go there, you could wander in some of the markets, wander down the main promenade, do a spot of shopping, or just into Torremolinos, relax. Walk into the marina area, play a round or two of golf, head out to one of those flamenco shows, do a spot of shopping, just sit and watch the world go by and go, my goodness, I can't believe I'm relaxing on the Mediterranean in Spain. Before we know it, we'll have spent 7 nights, 9 days in Torremolinos, and day 8 day 9, we'll find ourselves heading back to Malaga Airport for our flight back to the US and to San Diego, with spectacular memories of a warm and inviting, friendly and soccer crazy mad people. Rich history spanning centuries upon century, beautiful coastlines, crystal blue oceans, magnificent architecture and history and culture, yes, that you'll be able to bathe in. Now, what's included in this program? We class ourselves the leader in first-class 4-star programs in the US, and I'm hopeful you'll agree with that after you hear your included features on the program itself. We have round-trip air transportation from San Diego. We've got first-class hotels for 7 nights. For those people who've traveled with us before, you always know that we're always constantly trying our best to renegotiate hotels and try and find the best hotel we can. Historically on this program, even though we don't list it, it is the Soul House hotel that we use. It's a great hotel, brand new, renovated, right there on the beach itself. We got 14 meals, which equates to daily breakfast and 7 dinners. We've got a tour of Seville, we've got a tour of Ronda, we've got a tour of Rock of Gibraltar, and also we have as long as you sign up before the early bird discount expires, you got a half-day tour of Mijas. The rest are full-day tours. We've got that optional day tour to Morocco, and you got an optional day tour across to the Granada and the Alhambra Palace. We've got one of our tour director hosts on the program. From arrival in Malaga all the way to saying goodbye to Malaga. We've got deluxe air-conditioned motor coaches. And we've got baggage handling for 1 piece of luggage to go underneath the aircraft and in and out of the hotels. All this for $31.99 per person, double occupancy. If you'd like to go as a single, yeah, it's an additional $600. And for that, you can watch whatever you want to on the TV in the evening. Fuel surcharges are included at $350. Now your land hotel taxes and land taxes are $150 per person, and those will be charged to you at final payment. Now the $31.99 is an early bird discount price. As long as you reserve your spot, that went a little too quick, didn't it? As long as you reserve your spot by April the 13th. After April the 13th, it goes up by $100. And if you want Mijas after that date, it is $79 a person. So we strongly encourage you to sign up before or on that early bird discount, but probably beforehand, because this trip often sells out way before the early bird discount arrives, and save $179 a person. Okay. The activity level is a level 3, which means on and off of motor coaches, some walking tours. There will be some cobblestones, some steps, but nothing too strenuous on this particular program. Now, while we're already in Spain, 75% of all our travelers say, well, I'm already there, I'm going to stay longer. So we always have an optional extension. Our optional extension in this case is to Madrid, known as the White City and the capital of Spain. So when you're heading to Malaga Airport, you wave goodbye to those people who wisely chose not to come to Madrid with you. They'll fly home to the US, and you'll get off that plane in Madrid and carry on the adventure. And from November the 16th through to the 18th, we've got 2 nights in a first-class centrally located hotel. Daily breakfast. We've got a city tour of Madrid, including the Royal Palace. We've got a tour director on the program with you from arrival in Madrid. Deluxe motor coaches. We've got baggage handling and transfers from the airport in and out of the hotel. So it's $6.99 per person. Double occupancy for the 2-night extension, and $9.98 single pricing. Now, here we are. We'll be flying from Malaga into Madrid, and off we'll get. And welcome to the White City. It's a grand city of long, wide boulevards, tree-lined boulevards, spectacular architecture, marble buildings, carved in ornate fashion. Here we've got you'll find lots of rotundas, of they call them, roundabouts with fountains and sculptures in the middle of those large boulevards. Here we are we're in front of the Palace of Celibacies and the fountain also right there. Here we are, the Fountain of Neptune, the Alcala Gate, which is the ancient gate of the old town of Madrid, and we'll wander around that by motor coach, see Plaza de España, and arrive to the Royal Palace. The Royal Palace, of course, is the home of the Spanish monarchy. After that, we'll continue on, and we will be in Plaza Mayor. Plaza Mayor is the cultural center of the city itself. You'll see it on your city tour, but I strongly encourage that you go back maybe one evening. It's a wonderful interaction. You'll find restaurants and bars all the way around the square itself, people entertaining, children playing out in the square, a lot of vendors selling all sorts of things, and there's quite a lot of little places in and around the square and just on the outskirts of the square that sell tapas, bottles of wine, glasses of wine, sampling of foods, a little plate here, a little plate there. It's a wonderful, wonderful event. We are still in the square. We'll continue on to the modern section and then come back to the hotel or stay downtown in Madrid, wander through the Rialto Gardens, maybe head into the Prado Museum, do some last minute shopping, maybe head out to the Casa Botín, which is the oldest continuously running restaurant in the world, dating back to 1725. Last night in Madrid, watched the world go by, and before you know it, day 11 will be on us, and we'll be heading back out again just a few days later. Then the rest back to the US, back to San Diego, and again with spectacular memories. We certainly hope you'll join us on a terrific trip with the Chamber in 2023. And do keep in mind, you don't need to be a member to go on this trip, as non-members are allowed to. Now, visas for American passport holders are not required to go to Spain. 2 blank pages left on your passport and 6 months remaining. How do we sign up? I'm not going to dwell too much on this because it's nice and easy. We've already got Carlsbad travelers on the trip itself. There are 2 ways to reserve your spot on this trip. One, using the paper registration, which is on the website or maybe in front of you. The second one is the internet booking engine. The internet booking engine can be found underneath Kathy's name on the front of the brochure. You can see it by aventureworld.com/booking, and there's a code there, and you'll drop that in there. You can also see it at the top of the registration form listed there too. But if you're not computer literate, please fill out this form. It is 1 form per person in your Sunday best handwriting, please. So your name as it appears in your passport, date of birth, all the passport details, your email address carefully written, please. Now, bluntly, we do prefer, whenever humanly possible, for you to fill out the form online. Why? Because we don't have to decipher your handwriting. If you have handwriting like what I have, sometimes it's kind of difficult to understand. Is that an I or is it an E? I would have never guessed it was a D. That type of a conversation that our staff have to have. So if you can do it online, we appreciate it. Everything that's on here is the same online, but as we go through there, email address, if you're filling it out on paper, please do clearly indicate your email, home phone number, cell phone. Then you got what type of occupancy. If you tick single, you'll get a single occupancy, and it's $6.99 per person. If you tick double, twin, please tick that box and circle which one you'd like, 1 bed or 2 beds. In most cases in Spain, it's 2 beds pushed together to make a big bed a little bit bigger than a double bed. excuse me, I've got hiccups. Lastly, who you're sharing the room with. So it is one registration form per person. So if John and Alice are sharing the room together, John's going to fill one out, and then he's going to indicate Alice underneath there, and then Alice will fill one out and indicate John who she's sharing the room with. Next is the notes section. Anything you need us to know about you as a traveler, please let us know. We're traveling in the European Union, so as long as with advance notice, we should be able to cater to most dietary needs. But if you've got low sodium, fat-free diets, gluten-free diets, drop it in there. If you'd like to have rooms close to your family member, we can't always guarantee next door to each other, but close to each other. Put rooms close to and their last name and have them do the same with you. And so on. We don't give you a lot of space. If you have to put another piece of paper in there, please do feel free to do so. The same thing is on the booking engine. There's a note section, and you can put a lot more notes in there on the internet booking engine. Then we get into a little bit of a worksheet. Optional tours. So would you like to go to Granada? Would you like to go to Tangier? Would you like to go to Mijas? It is free of charge, Mijas. If you're violently opposed to going to Mijas, tick no. But if you sign up for it during that early bird dates, it comes free of charge. But yes, if you'd like to go to Granada, if you'd like to go to Tangiers, tick those boxes. If not, tick no. And then total up the amount of tours that you're going to take. You don't need to, if it's the early bird, you don't need to list in the total the Mijas tour, because that's free of charge, and indicate the total there. Then the extension. Yes, I'd like to. No, I'm not interested. Yes, I'd like to go as a single. No, I'm not interested. And then put in the total box, whatever amount drops underneath there. And you'll see why we do this. If you haven't traveled with us before, this will become apparent in a moment. So now we've got a little worksheet so you can figure out how much the trip costs. And the only difference between the two worksheets is $100, and it's the early bird deadline. So let's use the first one on the left-hand side. It's $31.99. Plus indicate any optional tours that drop in this total box, put it in there. Any single supplements, if you're a single, drop the $6.99 in there. The Madrid extension, if you're going on there, single or double, drop it in there. Add those up with the 150 taxes, and there is the total of the trip. Why do we do this? It's because of the travel insurance. And you may have heard me say this in the past. I hope you all take out travel insurance. I hope you all waste your money on travel insurance. You're not going on this trip to see what it's like to claim on an insurance policy. You're going on this trip for fun, camaraderie, adventure, and to see Spain with like-minded individuals. But there's one policy with an attachment that sticks to it, which is going to make it an enhanced policy. The policy is cancelled for a reason, and the reason is sickness or death of you or an immediate family member. Not a great event, so don't try it. But that's the way. It's a cancellation request. So medical on the trip is covered. Trip interruption, travel delays, misconnections, emergency medical evacuations, lost baggage and personal effects, baggage delays. Right? That's the that's the travel insurance. Now, you can enhance that by adding cancel for any reason. Now, cancel for any reason, as long as you reserve the cancel for any reason attachment, I'm going to call it a rider, but it's really an attachment that goes on to the standard insurance. As long as you reserve that with us or the insurance company, no later than 24 hours of reserving your trip with us, you qualify. You must also cancel within 48 hours of, no later than 48 hours before the trip departs. There are a few other rules and regulations. You can jump on our website and see them if you would wish. Go right down to the bottom of our website of aventuroworld.com, you'll be able to see a travel protection. Click on that and you'll be able to read through it and get all the details yourself. Now, importantly, cancel for any reason, you get 65% of the penalty amount back if you decide to cancel for whatever reason. If you've got a bad haircut, if you've broken a nail, if the dog doesn't want you to go, if you get busy at work and you just can't go, it's cancel for any reason. You get 65% back from the insurance company. Now, we value the chamber, we value Kathy, and we value you as travelers. And we as a company will augment that with 35% back in future travel credits when it's an insurance company, so we can't give refunds back. So together with the 65 and the 35% credits, you're 100% protected financially if you decide not to go and cancel for any reasons. Okay. Now, that's why we fill out all this section here. So let's just carefully, yes, there it is. Look, you'll notice the cost is before April the 13th. Now, the insurance, it's not plus. You'll notice here. So if we look here at the base program, the policy cost of the base program is $2,021 per person. If you want to add cancel to any for any reason to that, it is $331.50. It's not $221 plus $331.50. No, it's not. It's one or the other. Yes, if you'd like it, tick that box. No, if you don't. Okay. Importantly, though, we strongly encourage you to take it out. Now, dependent on the price of the trip, you know, if you go on the extension, if you happen to be a single occupancy, the price of the trip goes up a little bit. So you look to see whatever figure drops out in this section of the subtotal cost, have a look along here to find out what's the price of the insurance. Now, to calculate the trip the deposit, it's $800 per person to reserve your space on the trip, plus any optional travel insurance that drops, any optional day tours that drops out in this section. Plus the Madrid section in here too is due at the time of initial payment. We ask for that because we're extending your stay. We're making additional plans for you on this trip. So we ask for you to reserve that at the time of initial reservation. If you want travel protection and insurance, drop that amount in there and then plus this, plus this, plus this. And there we've got that section right there. Indicate how much you'd like to be the deposit to be on this section. Final payment is July the 1st for this trip. This amount here then drops down into this amount here, which means that you authorize that amount to be paid. Oh, I apologize. Now we get into a checks made payable to Aventura World. You can pay by checks. We'll also, if you're going to pay by credit card on a paper form, we'll fill out the form, fill out the amount to be charged, and we'll send you a link to pay directly with our merchant account. Now, we want to be able to offer you some assurances that, hey, I want to put an X on the calendar that I am going to Spain in November, on November the 8th, and I can put that X on the calendar. There's a couple of ways to do that. We've given you an option of cancel for any reason. So you can cancel all the way up until 48 hours before you go and see how the world is. But also, we're giving you a free option too. The free option is from the time of initial reservation all the way up to 131 days before you go, you get a full money back guarantee of all money paid to Aventura World for your deposit, for any day tours, any extensions. Okay, you'll just send an email to Kathy and she'll pass it on to us, and we will then initiate the refund process. The only thing, however, you cannot get back is the travel insurance. It is working on your behalf as soon as we buy it for you. I ask you to enter the conversation. I wasted my money. As soon as you buy that, I've wasted my money on the insurance because I hope you never have to use it. In the last 20 years, I've taken 70 trips. From those 70 trips, I've claimed the insurance twice. I've taken it out every time, but I've claimed it twice. So in all, that 68 times. But I won't change that. Last week, we had somebody fall and hurt their ankle and required a business class seat for the return. And that's an important thing about medical on the trip. Just in case, it protects you and such things as that. But you know, each year we have car insurance. Hopefully you wasted your money on your car insurance last year and you didn't get into any accident. Hopefully this year you'll waste your money on your medical insurance here in the US and you won't delve into any of the deductible at all. So I ask you to look at the same with travel insurance. It's really important. Lastly, as soon as you've got that done, you put the amount here, sign it, date it, and get the registration form over to Kathy. Nearly done, and then I can open to questions. If you've reserved your spot with us in the past, then you can go to aventureworld.com/booking and drop in your email, your password, and whatever code drops out underneath. Again, here you can see the booking code, which is RFZNMW. If you haven't signed up online before, just a spot of homework to do just before you do. And that's first name, last name in this side, put your email address in there, make a password, put whatever code in there is underneath, press submit. As soon as that happens, an email will be sent to you from our server. It's automatic, it's from a computer. It didn't go to the bathroom, didn't go for lunch. It works immediately. If it doesn't arrive, check your spam box, please, because it's there. Click on that email because it says, is this you? Is this your email address? Click on it. And as soon as you click on it, it opens up our booking engine. And it says, welcome, whatever your name is, it says, welcome to you. You'll just have a little bit of homework. You'll put your name in there. You'll put your passport, you'll put your address, you'll put your telephone number in there. You'll put your passport information in there. You'll put anybody that's traveling with you, maybe a spouse, name, date of birth, passport number, anything like that. Save. Once you've done that, it's all plug and play. It's nice and easy because all the information is in your system. You don't need to put your passport in there any longer because it's in there. So section 1, who's on the trip? Who's passenger 1? From the pull down, you'll pick yourself. Is there a passenger 2? Yes, there is. From the pull down of passenger 2, you'll pick your spouse and it's done. Save, move on. And it goes through easy plug and play. It'll take you a matter of 10 minutes to do it all and it's easy. Now there's one section there, which is number 5. Number 5 is insurance. You cannot buy insurance directly from our website, but we try and make it as informative as possible so you know how much the insurance is and you know what the insurance, how to apply for it. Now, section 6 is you're going to pay for your trip, deposit and reserve your space with Aventura World. Now, you cannot buy the insurance from the booking engine from Aventura World. Remember that. So, but as soon as you finish section 6 and put your credit card directly in the merchant account website, unless you have super strong spam blocking or pop-up blocking, as soon as you press submit, don't go anywhere because this will pop up. And this is the insurance website. It's CSA Generali. They're down there in San Diego, somewhere in one of those big tower blocks. And this is what you'll fill out. And it works really easy. And you are now communicating directly with the insurance provider. Only starred sections is what you put in. Data, departure, return date, trip cost. How many people to be insured? I strongly encourage you, each person to fill out their own policy. Each have your own policy. What's the state of residency? Click instant quote, get an instant quote. And here you've got all the features of the insurance. This is a HTML file. I can't get it all on one photograph. So there's 2 photographs, but it's all one page with the insurance provider. And it goes through everything that you've got right here. Now, importantly, if anybody wants cancel for any reason, there it is. You're going to click that box right there, and you are going to, in that box underneath, you're going to click on the date that you reserved with us. If you want cancel for any reason, please make sure you sign up for the insurance as soon as you've made the reservation with us. So do keep that in mind. If you're doing it on a weekend and you can't get hold of Kathy and you can't get hold of anybody because it's a weekend, remember, go to our, and for some reason, if this box doesn't populate, remember, go to our website, aventuraworld.com, go down to the very, very bottom where the background turns black and the text turns white, and click on travel protection, and it will launch on a PDF where you can click through to this document and just fill out this document. Click on that and off we go. Click send. And then now we're into the personal information, only the starred sections again. I'm going to say only, except email is right here. Don't forget this is a HTML file. So I'm going to click to the next picture, but there's no star on email right here. But if you want the document, the policy emailing to you, please make sure you put your email address in here. If not, it will be sent to your address. Okay. Beneficiary, there's no star there. You don't need to fill that out. This rest you don't need to fill out. Now, where we're going to, what's the primary destination? Spain. From the pull down, pick Spain. Primary airline. The airlines don't know where they're flying tomorrow. Never mind you flying in November. So from the pull down, the very last notification is undecided. Click on that and put undecided there. That's all the airline needs. As soon as you've done that, you'll move on to step 4, which is here, which is the credit card information to pay for it. As soon as you press send, the policy comes directly to you if you pressed email, that you want it delivered by email. If it doesn't, you're talking to a computer, it's in your spam. Look for your spam. And at that, does anybody have any questions? And we got a couple of questions here online. And while I look at these, if anybody wants to think of their questions, I've got flights from San Diego is included in trip. For friends who aren't in San Diego local, can we help them with booking the flights? Yes, we can. So in the notes section, or if they book online, in the notes section on the paper, they would put flyers out of Portland. Wherever it is, they'd put that. Now, if they're signing up online, section 3, if I'm not mistaken, is where are you flying out of? You don't need to do anything on that. But if they're flying out of Portland, they'll click fly me out of and then type in Portland, and we'll come back to them on that pricing. Okay. We can't guarantee, and this is Jess that asked this. Jess, we can't guarantee that they'll be flying with you, depending on where they're flying from. But historically, they will meet you in the European Gateway Airport and join you on that small up and down into Malaga, and then you'll be on the same bus. If we don't, we'll still provide transfers to and from the airport. So next one, how long is the bus drive to Seville? Yes, somewhere in the vicinity. We always stop for leg stretches, bathroom breaks, and in California, if anybody still smokes, smoking stops too. And it's about 2 and with stops along the way between 2 hours, 15 minutes and 2.5 hours. This is rather late in the year, isn't it? Rainy season. What's the temperature like? There's no rainy season in Spain. As such, we are traveling in Europe, but we're on the coast of the sun, the Costa del Sol. We operate most of our programs in February, March, October, November, and even into December. Whether you argue or not, if global warming exists or not, we never went into December in this destination ever. But I was in this destination last December in shorts. So there's a possibility it could rain, but no, there's no rainy season at all. Can we make our own optional tour after the trip or a week or two? You can do whatever you want to. If you want, and this is Tom. Tom, if you want to break away off of our trip, please feel free to do so. We'll provide you, give us the date that you want to come back. Yes, we'll put that in the notes. I want to come back on XXX date, and we'll see if we can get air on the way back. If it becomes too complicated, you can make your own air arrangements yourself, and we'll give you a credit for your own air. And I think in this case, it's $800 per person. Please explain the undecided for destination and airline. Lucy, that was for the optional travel insurance. There's a section in there that won't allow you on page on number 3, bullet number 3, tab number 3 on the insurance, that won't allow you to go further unless you fill it out. One, it says, what is your primary destination, which is Spain. Make sure you list Spain. And then the one underneath that says, what's the airline you're flying on? You don't know what you're flying on. So you just indicate undecided and press submit, and it allows you to go on with the booking. What international airport are we flying to? It's a very difficult question to answer. Again, there's so many different, right now we're coming back into pre-COVID standards, but there's still a lot less air up there, a lot less seats flying up there, and most seats are full. Most aircrafts are full in today's day and age. But historically, on this itinerary, it's either a United Lufthansa or a Delta, Air France, or sometimes it's an American Iberia connection. So in that particular case, you know, if it be a United, the international gateway in Europe could be a Munich or a Frankfurt. An Air France could be, or a Delta could be Amsterdam or Paris, and an Iberia American could be something like a Madrid. All air schedules will be given to you at final payment. Final documentation when air are all unable to change any longer. Any questions? I've gone through everything that's on the chat feature. Does anybody want to ask me something? You can unmute yourself by putting your mouse to the top of the screen, and I think mute, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the top left-hand corner, there's a microphone that says mute. You might have a line through it, but click on that line and it will become green.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So like on day 2 after breakfast, what time do we leave to get on the bus and approximately come back?
Day 2, you'll be arriving.
Okay.
So there is no breakfast on day 2.
Okay.
Day 2 you will be arriving. Of course, depends on the airlines. It depends on the routing, but somewhere from 3 o'clock to 7 p.m. in the evening, you'll be arriving in Torremolinos.
Okay. What about day 3? Sorry about that.
Day 3. Let's look to see what the day is on day 3. So here we've got
approximately, yeah.
We've got day 3 on this particular trip. Let me pull it up and give me one moment.
Thank you.
Historically, our day tours run in a scenario, and for some reason I can't pull it up. Why is it not pulling? Here it is. Day 3. So day 3 in this particular case is to Seville. Seville, our full day tours depart between 8 and 9 o'clock in the morning and come back between 3 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon, give or take, dependent on traffic, dependent on various aspects. That's a typical, other than the tour to Morocco, that's a typical tour.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, does anybody have any other questions? If not, I will be available. You can email me at Kathy, Kathy, @carlsbad.org, or give me a call. My extension here is 212. But if you have any questions now for Ian, please ask. And if not, if you think of something later, please let me know. Thank you, Ian.
No, you're welcome. Anybody got anything before we disappear? No. Thank you. We certainly hope you'll join us, and please sign up sooner than later. We strongly encourage you to sign up as quick as possible, and whenever possible, sign up before the early deadline, bird deadline expires, because in many cases the trip might be sold out by then. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much. Bye.